Right, hopefully by now I will have done the 2 previous videos showing how to make this one and then the sort of wider version of this one. So I'll just show you. Okay, and I haven't unravelled it, sorry, but you've got the gist. And then I tried also a much more lacy one, which is a really highly worked piece of mulberry paper, 2 layers thick, and just scrunched up and scrunched for ages and ages, keeping it wet. But I will do a video on that. I also did a test piece of trying to felt the lovely lacy bits onto a piece of new mulberry paper, and it has worked really beautifully. And again, it's a technique that would take a while to develop it to the standard that you want. I wanted a really organic form, marks that were difficult to make by, you know, with any other method other than this. So that's what happened. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do a big one. Using all those bits and pieces, I'm going to try and combine them together. So I've got one big piece of cream mulberry paper, and onto that I'm going to put some white. And I'm going to put 2 layers of white on there to make 3 layers thick. I mean, maybe I should do it more because this one has sort of broken down quite a lot, because I really want it sort of quite substantial when it's finished. I want it to be able to take the hammering I'm going to give it, but equally I wouldn't mind Joomchiing it yet further again after I've sewn it. Not quite sure whether I'll do 2 or 3. So if I do it, I have to remember I've got to put the water between these 2, stick it down, put the water on this, then stick the next layer down, and then lay your design on top. This has got quite grey. I wanted it a bit more pure than that, but I'm not sure I can do it with this particular paper because I'm not sure that the process can be quick enough that the actual inks don't run, the pigments in the papers don't run. But it also creates some really nice effects, and I really do like that one. So I'm going to do 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Right, so get me paper and my water. So I've just got a thing of water. I've got my paper, I've got my surface, and I've got a nice thick paintbrush somewhere. Here we go. And start. Okay. Well, I think I'm probably being far too ambitious. No, I'm going to try it. Okay, slush a load of water on. So this is the first layer. Start in the middle and go out to try and reduce the air bubbles and the wrinkles. And this cream is only just to give the whole thing strength, but I'm hoping the colour doesn't come through too much. Right, and the white, and start in the middle, go out. Before it's too wet, I'm going to get a roller, just actually a chair leg, and I'm just going to try and get some of the bubbles out. A rolling pin, anything will do. So all I'm doing is getting the air bubbles out. I'm just going to put a bit more water on that, just to make sure this is properly wet. If you over rub it, you can feel the filaments come off. Okay, so that's 1. 2, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Well, that's certainly going to be wet enough. That is a bit of colour from the underside. Okay, make sure that's all wet right to the edges. And get out any air bubbles that you can see. Right, next one, next white. So that will be 2. And this is the 3rd. Okay, put it on. And then take it out. Pull out the air bubbles. tell you the truth, I think I want another white. And I should have used all white because I don't like that cream coming through. I did it just so that I didn't use up all my white. Right, the next bit is put your design down. So, I know that it's white. It's going to be white. So I've got this piece, which is absolutely lovely. Oops, broken it, doesn't matter because I can patch that. And I can open them out or leave it sort of thick as is. Make it nice and organic and fun. And then the next one, which is this one I decided. So just lay it over, see what happens, see how it interacts. They can go above and below each other, they don't have to stay as they are. Okay, well they're lovely. Right, now these, so I've got these lovely bits of black. So where exactly do I want them? Do I want them black or grey? Just make the most of everything that I have. There we go. Okay. And that's my last little piece. I could just see if that'll fit in anywhere. I'm a bit disappointed with the design there. Maybe that's better down there. And that's in there. And then I think I'd quite like that there. But underneath everything. So. And of course nothing, it never comes back as you put it in the first place. I have no idea how this is going to work. I'll make the most of all these little bits. Okay, and now it is a question of really wetting it. So get your spray bottle, spend some time doing this because you want it so wet that it's going to stay in place. Now everything is going to move. I mean, you can do this to your heart's content, can't you? But I have no idea if it's going to stay in place. So the thing is to not worry about it too much, I suppose. And really make the most of every bit of it. And all the lovely marks it makes. It'll be wet between the layers as well. You know, so that really make sure. And it's at this point as well that it becomes incredibly vulnerable. As soon as it gets wet like this, it becomes really vulnerable. Okay, spend some time really dampening it off. If you weren't watching, I'd probably just tip a bucket of water over it. But I'm sure that isn't how you're supposed to do it. And I think when you first start messing with this, when you first start trying to felt it, I think it's a really good idea to do it gently. So put it in the rollers. I think that's why they do it in the bubble wrap rather than those bamboo things. But I'm too impatient. That's got to be really wet because that's 3 layers there. I knew I'd get loose, completely lose the will to live if this takes too long. What happens as well is all the dye comes out the black and it stains the white, so that has an effect as well. Right, this is going to be my top, so I'm going to quite happily thicken that off, folding it over, put it underneath the black. And make sure everything is soaking wet. It's when it's wet that the filaments can merge. If it's not wet enough, they don't merge. Okay. I'll try and get it all in the position that you want it to be in. Make sure it's really wet enough. There's a lot of water in there. soaking wet. Now I'm going to put my thicker cellophane over the top, and then I'm going to roll it in the bamboo things. It'll stuck down. And now you could do some bubble wrap at this point, or you could do it with the bamboo things. I mean, it's really beautiful, it's lovely, but whether it will come out, right, get rid of all your stuff, water, scissors, anything that's going to get in the way. And then I've got a massive bamboo blind, which I'm going to try and get underneath here. But okay, I'm going to lift it back on itself. Put this down. And obviously you don't have to be quite as ambitious as this. I don't know why, I just like big pieces. But it comes with its own whole set of problems, doesn't it? Because they're so difficult to frame. And you've got to be so careful, because it's at this point that, of course, that it's very tearable. So you want to work this until a lot of the water's come out of it. Otherwise, when you start handling it, it'll just tear. Okay, can you see that? There we go. Lay everything down. It's all nice and flat. And then this is going to take me a while, isn't it? Just Joomchiing this is going to take me a good while. I really like the little strange marks that these wiggles make. And I've been doing these wiggling things, you know, utilising this wiggle in a lot of my work. Oh, I just think they're lovely. It's sort of so organic, isn't it? And so naturalistic. Like that. Right, so here goes. Bubble wrap in there might be a good idea too, so it isn't quite so harsh. The sort of way I'm going to do it isn't quite so vicious, but I'm just going to do it. I'm never going to use this as a blind now. I should cut off all the ropes and things because they're getting in the way. And I love all these funny little sticky marks. Really seems a shame to try and control them. It seems a shame to try and control them. Right, now roll it for ages. You want it so well felted that these bits are not going to come apart when you start scrunching it up. Right, see you later. So the pieces are so big, I've got it down on the floor now, and I've got to make sure that it's wet enough so that it felts. The being wet is really important because it's then the filaments seem to dissolve a little bit into each other. So don't try and do it when it's dry. Most of this is felted in really nicely, and I absolutely love the marks it makes. I'll just show you. So most of this is felted in really nicely, and I just love the marks that it's making. It's the way that the filaments are all so wiggly of their own accord, like threads. And I use a lot of threads because they make such nice lines. I just think some of the lines in this are really beautiful. And so much about the medium itself. It's just really effective and exciting. So I'm going to really dampen this down, and then I'll show you me using these bamboo blinds to felt it, just as you would woolen felt. It's also really important to put this cellophane over the top because it stops it from getting caught in the bamboo. If it does get caught in the bamboo, it starts pulling on it. So this is all wet, get it all nice and flattened down again. I mean, again, I've been so ambitious feels so delicate when it's wet. Okay. Then roll it all up in your bamboo. And there's bits that I know haven't Joomchi'd very well, haven't felted in very well. Take it all the way over. And then felt it down. Oh, and the other thing is that doing it this method means that the colours don't run so much. I mean, the colours aren't fast in this paper, so they run when you really squash it together. You're squeezing all the colours out and you're squeezing it into each other. Whereas this way, it seems to keep the colours a bit more contained, so it doesn't run into the other colours so much. For instance, the black will turn a white grey quite quickly. But in this, it does seem to contain the colours. Okay, I'm going to do this for a good while. I mean really 100 rolls backwards and forwards, and then turn it round and do it alternative sides, or alternate sides. Right, so you do it a good few times and just check it. That bit was coming loose, but that's really quite fixed down now. I'm just going to lift it up on the cellophane because it'll keep it together a bit more. It's less like to rip. And then just change its position. Be really careful because it's so vulnerable when it's wet. Just because that bit was not felting down very well, but it's doing it nicely now. Start again. Right, having rolled it in my bamboo for ages, I'm finding it's just damaging it. It's too rough. So I'm going to try rolling it in this bubble wrap. So I've just got a thin bubble wrap, a small hold bubble wrap. I'm just going to cut it and roll it with a bubble side onto this, because I want that sort of massaging, I think, on that side. So then just turn it over, spread it out nicely. I'm finding, like, look, I'm getting holes and stuff. I don't mind the holes, but I think I could have been a bit more gentle with it. Again, I'm just going to have to learn how I work with this. Okay, I'm going to roll it up. And the reason why I'm doing it in the bubble wrap is because the pattern's lifting off and I want the pattern to stay down. I also found that I perhaps was doing it too damp. I think I need to wring out the water. Remember, you wring it out, you dampen it, wring it out, and then start manipulating it. And the reason being is that when it's too wet, all the filaments really dissolve out. It works for some things, like the very lacy ones, but for this one it sort of didn't seem to let them join. So I'm just going to try this, and I'm going to just go for it like so. But I mean, for ages. I think something like this could take as much as 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is just do it in front of the television again, and just do it over a period of time. I've done an hour on it over and it still hasn't all felted together. So there you go, that's what I'm going to do next with this one. So this is the resultant piece when sort of 3 or 4 pieces have been joined, and that's the grey side up and this is the black side up. And the 2 pieces of holy Joomchi that I'd done, there's aspects of it that I really like. I don't like the way the colour is so faded. Of course it does have a quality of its own that you could just embrace, but I think I prefer more intense colour, and I would paint white mulberry paper with acrylics so that it doesn't bleed into one another quite so much, because I don't like the way that everything has just gone this muddy colour, but of course you can just embrace it. I like the weird tensions that have been created within it, so it's all it's not lying flat. It's got its own tensions where the thicknesses have gone. I don't quite know. And there's some funny, like there's some beautiful colours through here where the orange is coming through the black. Oh, and I wish I'd left that not grey up, but the black side up like this, so there was a bit more contrast. In any case, you know, there's parts of it that I really love, and I am going to sort of take this further, and maybe not Joomchi within the canes, within the bamboo things quite so much. So there is a number of things to consider with all these. So these are the pieces that I've done so far, and sort of very much learning on the way. Some of them I find a little bit boring. That one's very boring. That's almost nicer that way up, that one. In fact, I do far prefer it that way up. And this one I'm really pleased with. I really like that. So that will go onto some sort of canvas. And same with this one. This one's come out really nicely. You can see again where the papers have split into these lacy things. Now that was just in the process. I didn't make that lacy Joomchi first. In fact, these were this and this one were one of the first I did, and these 2 are probably my favourite. I will do some more of those because I just think they have worked really well. Problem is I can't quite remember what it is. I'm pretty sure that that was orange, but it's got so messed with the colours from the rest of it. That's the back side of it, but I like this side. Okay, enjoy. It's a lovely journey. I think one of the things that I'm really trying to say as well at this point is not that I'm teaching you, but that I'm demoing this as I go along. So we're all learning by my mistakes and the processes that I go through. Of course, you can't experience quite how my hands work with this and how impatient I am with all these things. But you get the gist. It's really a question of just folding it up, concertinaing it up to produce different sorts of effects. Thanks for watching. And if you like it, please remember to like and subscribe. There's also a super thanks button, which would be much appreciated because I have to buy all the stuff as well. So I have to really invest in this. Hope you enjoy. Thanks, and hope you get something out of it. Thanks very much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. All the best.